707 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in to a Wednesday. It is April 29th of 2026. And as we do at this time every Wednesday, Brian Wilson joins us. Brian, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing very well. And you, Dan?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm not having to deal with any potholes as of yet. We'll be hitting the road in a couple of hours.
I think maybe we should all gather over on I-65 at that truck fire for lunch. Because apparently I read that truck fire is 40,000 pounds of chicken.
That's right. That's right. Now, I asked, okay, so Brian, do you have an opinion on this? Because I did ask the question. So if you're in that vicinity, does it smell like a Kentucky Fried Chicken? Can you smell the chicken, or how does that work?
I don't know. It depends on what state the chickens were in. So I don't know.
Well, very good. Anyway, we usually go back and forth on what we're going to talk about. You have the latest on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I didn't have anything latest on that, so what's going on?
Well, just a couple of things that are sort of, look, there's been a tremendous amount of transparency around this, but, the vast majority of the transparency that, the things that we know about this particular case, much of it came from Donald Trump, who tweets it out as soon as he gets it. But there are some questions, and it's in the grand scheme of things. Does it matter? No. The real story here is that somebody tried to get to the president and to members of the cabinet inside a ballroom, and it could have been tragic. Mm-hmm. But there are a couple of questions, and it has to do with the attacker and the Secret Service agent who apparently got hit one time, but it's not at all clear how that all went down. We see the video of him running through the checkpoint, but we don't see what happened after that. And according to what we're being told is he actually just fell down or was tackled, but it's not clear which. And then how did the Secret Service agent get shot? Because this guy was running with a shotgun and he had a handgun, but they have said that he fired off the shotgun. I don't know how you fire off a shotgun when you're running at full speed. And I don't know how that all went down, but they say that perhaps now that he was the thing that really saved him was not only his bulletproof vest, but the fact that he had a cell phone and that the shot hit the cell phone. That doesn't sound like a shotgun shot, because we know the guy was said he was going to use scatter shots. So I have some questions about all of the ballistics and all that. Maybe we'll get some clarification on it, but what they're saying about the ballistics doesn't quite add up to what we have heard publicly, and I just have some questions about that.
And my question, Brian, would be: so the Secret Service fired as well. Where did all those bullets go?
Yeah, exactly.
Because this dude wasn't hit once.
Yeah, it wasn't hit once. Was the Secret Service agent hit by friendly fire? They have initially said no, but I mean, there's a lot about what they have said about ballistics that just, for me, doesn't quite add up. Yep. So it's not a big scandal, but I am curious about that. Also, when it comes, I just want to say this, and again, I am a big supporter of the president's plan for a big, beautiful ballroom. But this whole argument that, well, if we had the big, beautiful ballroom, we would have had the dinner here and all of this would have been avoided. I don't know that that's true. I don't know that the dinner would have been held there. There are a lot of complications to saying to the White House, hey, by the way, we want to hold a dinner at the White House and we want the president to come. How does that all really work? It's a private dinner. The president is an invited guest. How do you then impose yourself? Say, by the way, we're coming to your White House and we're going to have a party. Hope you don't mind. No, that's not going to work. So, it's a good try. To me, the better argument for the big, beautiful ballroom is the fact that what they're putting under it, which is a secure bunker. That is the real story here. And not the big, beautiful ballroom, but what's going to be underneath it. And from a national security standpoint and from a protection of the president's standpoint, apparently they're trying to build a bunker so that they don't have to evacuate him in times of danger. They want to have him shelter in place. And that makes a lot of sense. And there are good security reasons why we need the ballroom. But, I'm not sure that the argument that's being made, it's a good try, but I'm not really sure there's a lot of merit to that argument.
I think Bill would have loved that bunker when he was in the White House, so he wouldn't have to deal with Hillary.
Yeah.
So
just go to the bunker.
Let's go to the bunker, man.
Tonight.
Hillary's pissed off. Got to go to the bunker. No, but okay. So here's my thought.
Well, at times Bill Clinton needed to be protected from Hillary, and he probably should have gone to the bunker.
She can throw those lamps or whatever it was.
Yeah, ashtray or something. I don't
know. Here's my thought on the Grand Ballroom. So you're right, and other people who have been talking about other reasons why the White House Correspondents' Dinner would not be held at the Grand Ballroom, because that would be the media going to the journalists going to sort of like the president's house, if you will, for this supposedly independent, dinner. But see, here's my thing, is that we now know that they're not able to keep the president safe in a place like the Hilton. So here's my thought, though, Brian, and, maybe I'm all wet on this, but could the White House not say or rent out the ballroom to the people that put these things on and say, okay, listen, if you want to do this, great. We'll rent out the ballroom for you, and you're going to hire, our staff who already have security clearances. We've got all the, protections of the White House there already, and we've got all of our Secret Service. And this building is literally designed to secure and keep the most important person on the planet safe. I mean,
you're going to have something like that. I mean, I'm telling you how weird the media are about, giving money to the White House and not making it look like they're beholden to the White House, such that, take it for what it's worth. But here's an example of that. When reporters fly on Air Force One, they end up reimbursing the White House at first for whatever the price of a first class ticket would be, plus 50%.
Wow.
In other words, they pay to fly on Air Force One so that they're not looking as if it's a gift or they're beholden in some way. So, I mean, there are a lot of things to work through. I mean, the president goes to the Hinckley Hilton, excuse that old term, that's what we used to call it, the Hinckley Hilton, for the Nerd Prom, the White House Correspondents Association dinner, and things like the National Prayer Breakfast, which is held on an annual basis. Now, I could see you having the prayer breakfast there a lot easier than I could see you having the radio TV correspondents dinner. Mm-hmm. The dinner can hold 2,500 people. It looks like that ballroom is capable of something similar. Look, I think there's a lot of good reasons to have the ballroom. I'm in favor of the ballroom. I just don't know that having done a couple of these dinners and knowing the logistics and all of the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, I'm just not sure that dinner would necessarily be in the ballroom.
Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted. A couple of felonies, as a matter of fact, and this all is connected to that shell formation 8647, which at the time, of course, everybody remembers, there was a lot of these leftists that were, doing different versions of the same thing and effectively calling for the murder of Donald Trump. Brian, what do you think?
Well, listen, I think that Jim Comey is a slime ball. I mean, there are a lot of great questions about Jim Comey's activities when he was FBI director. He was a bad actor. I think he was working actively against the president at every step of the way. This particular charge, I'm sort of along with some of the legal analysts like Jonathan Turley and others who say it's not the strongest of cases, and did he understand what he was doing? I think he did. Is it a true threat? A lot of legal analysts like Jonathan Turley and others have said, I'm not sure this passes the test. It's not a particularly strong case. Could be some free speech complications to the charge. I don't have any, love for Jim Comey, but I'm not sure this is particularly the strongest case. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting case, but I'm not sure it's there.
Yeah, when we're talking about this, Brian, in the 5 o'clock hour, when I saw this story, I'm not real excited about it because I just think that I've been, I don't know what's the right word. You think that people are going to be held accountable, and then ultimately charges are filed and all these other things, but nothing ever comes of it. I mean, James Comer, how many times did we hear James Comer talk about, going after Bill Clinton and all that kind of, not Bill Clinton, Joe Biden.
It is frustrating.
Yeah, and nothing ever happened. So, but, this did pass the grand jury smell test. I mean, at least that.
That's true. I mean, but the old saying, a good district attorney or a good prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. It's not hard to get the indictment. It is sometimes hard to get the conviction. I don't know. There's a lot out there with James Comey. And I think there are stronger cases to go after than this one. But, we'll see how it all plays out.
Brian, one thing that is not in question regarding James Comey is whether or not he's a slime ball. He is a slime ball, as identified by one Brian Wilson. All right, last conversation here. The War Powers Act is now in play, or at least getting closer, I believe. I'm not sure of the timeline.
You got 60 days to notify Congress, and we're at the 60-day mark. So
is that today? Today's the 60-day mark?
That's what I read this morning.
Okay.
We're approaching, either we're at or we're about to hit the 60-day mark, and depending on how you count it. Mm-hmm. But one way or the other, look, I still support what the president is doing. What's the exit plan? How long are you going to be there? He can go to Congress and ask for another 30 days, but that 30 days is supposed to be used to withdraw, and I'm not sure they're ready to withdraw. There's another report out there this morning that the president has told his staff, get ready, the Strait of Hormuz may be tied up for some time now. We don't know how long it's going to be, this blockade is going to be in effect. So I don't know. Look, I still think there's time. I don't want to panic. But it really, we do sort of need to get moving toward an exit strategy. What's the old saying? When you go into something, you got to have a plan for how you're going to get out. But then things change along the way. Things happen that you don't anticipate. You have to react to that. I still think we've got them on the ropes, and I hate to see us back down now. But there is this complication of now you have to go to Congress and have a conversation about it. And we'll see how that plays out as well.
Brian, I know we have about 2 minutes left. I don't know. Do you have any firepower on the UAE exiting OPEC? I know that you're a big oil guy. You like to talk about that stuff a lot.
Well, it's very interesting, and I'd love to know what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, when you see something like that come out of nowhere, that means there was something going on behind the scenes that sort of precipitated that. What was it? Did it have something to do with the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz? Did it have something to do with the attacks? I'm not real sure what it is, but it is interesting. I would love it if OPEC lost its clout. And one of the things I see Donald Trump trying to do is to build up the United States as a major supplier of energy worldwide, to the degree that we got a lot of oil and we got a lot of natural gas, and as you've noticed, since the Strait of Hormuz is closed, a lot of tankers are now coming to the Gulf of America to get loaded up with oil, American oil, and I think that's a good thing. So I think he's trying to take advantage of this situation to make us, less energy independent, but maybe the world less energy dependent on the Mideast. And I think that there's sort of a reorganization, and we really hold a lot of cards right now. We've got Venezuelan oil coming in. We got our oil coming in. Really, honestly, I did see that the price of oil is going back up again, but I'm not real sure why, because it seems like we've got plenty of oil and gas out there. It's just a matter of getting it to market, and these momentary things that happen when you have to shift around because of a war in the Mideast.
Yeah, one of the big questions is, and I spoke to E.J. Antoni about this yesterday, where we were talking about the impacts and what could be next for OPEC. And one of my questions is, so the United Arab Emirates is first. We've got all of these other nations also in OPEC. This is where your point comes in, where what is going on behind the scenes. And what one of the things that he is saying is that there may be other nations fleeing OPEC as well, and they may just want to start, drilling or pumping their own oil, more oil, and just want to pump as much as they possibly can. And so he thinks that this could be, and I've seen other people say this too now, and this is, I think, evidenced by what you're saying too, which is, we may just see all these nations deciding they're going to start pumping as much oil as they want, and that will ultimately lead to lower prices for us.
That's a good thing. Competition is a good thing always.
Competition is absolutely a good
thing. So let the Arab nations compete with one another and drive down the price of oil and natural gas. I think that's a good thing. That could be a real nice byproduct to all of this.
Weaken Iran, and that would be huge for Donald Trump. All right, Brian, always great to have you on. Now, you're going to be in for me on Friday.
Yes, I will be. I'll be in on Friday and look forward to catching up with everybody then.
Show starts at 5.
Yes, I'll be there.
Okay, good. Thanks, Brian.
I'll get up really early.
Okay. All right, man. Talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, Brian Wilson. All right, it is 7:23. Joan's got the news at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, why a Nashville man has just been charged in a carjacking, a violent carjacking. We've got that story coming up here at 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. By the way, we were talking earlier about how Trump had put out a picture of he and King Charles.
Uh-huh.
And it said 2 kings on it.
Yes, I saw that.
And the left just absolutely freaked out on that.
I love it.
Now Donald Trump's face is going to appear on some passports. Have you seen that?
Oh, yes.
Does he just do these things on purpose? He
trolls the snot out of them.
And I don't care. I think it's funny. Mm-hmm. You know, you can have these, oh, guys, he's a king. Told you he thinks he's a king. I just find it funny that they have these reactions. They will have like 9 panel experts on MSNBC talking about this story for an hour later on tonight. Yeah. So, and I love it. I just think it's funny. Thank you, Jones. So all morning long, you've been talking about how these potholes are eating cars. At what point are they going to be full?
I don't think they get full.
No, they just keep eating those cars, do they?
You know what I keep hearing in my head?
What's that?
That song that we played for eating the cats, they're eating the cats. Like it needs to be retooled for eating the cars, they're eating the cars. Right? Am I right?
What song goes, they're eating the cats, they're eating the cats?
Oh, come on. Sam, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Are you talking about the Trump thing when he said they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats?
That was J.D. Vance, I think, right? Said that
No, that was Trump that said they're eating the dogs. Wasn't that during a debate? If I remember right, that was the whole thing with the Haitians eating
the cats. Eating the pets of the people that live there. They're eating the dogs.
Oh.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that
By the way, there was a migrant in Italy that was caught roasting a cat at a children's park.
Please don't eat my cats.
You know what's so funny?
I think it could be retooled for they're eating the vans. They're eating the SUVs.
They're eating the vans. They're eating the sedans.
Well, that's very
right.
Rhymey.
Yeah.
But eating the vans would also be a Somali fraud thing, right? With all those medical transportation van services.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there you go.
Eating the trucks.
Thank you, by the way, for that earworm, because that's actually really good.
It's really catchy, and now that rhythm's stuck in my head, too.
It's exactly right.
You're welcome.
All righty. Let's see here. We still have a lot going on. We have not received one photo of those potholes, by the way, and I'm getting a little upset.
Maybe they're eating the photos.
Maybe they are.
People out there.
Maybe they're eating the photos. By the way, did you hear that? So Brian kind of agrees with me a little bit on the whole James Comey thing, where he doesn't think that former FBI Director James Comey, he doesn't believe that this is going to pass the sniff test, even though it did go through a grand jury. And I agree with Brian. I think James Comey is a dirt bag. I mean, this guy is corrupt as the day is long.
Tell us how you really feel, Dan.
No, I do. Well,
I know.
I think I just did.
Yeah.
So, but I've got some more audio that I want to play regarding these 2 indictments, James Comey. So, first of all, in case you missed it, big news today. CNN is like all. Now, you know why CNN is all over this, right? CNN is all over this because they're positioning this as, Donald Trump going after his political enemies. Not even thinking any possible moment that James Comey did anything wrong when he did that shell formation 8647. Some people are saying, well, there's free speech issues here. Other people saying, well, clearly he was calling for the execution of the president of the United States. And as the former director of the FBI, he knows people that can do that. Now, again, I'm no legal. I looked at this, and as much as I want James Comey to be hauled off in handcuffs, as much as I want that James Comey mugshot, I don't know. It feels flimsy to me, but this is what James Comey said.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values. Keep the faith.
I also believe James Comey is creepy. Like, there's just a bit of a creep factor. Do you remember, Joan, that whole thing when he went on and on about how much he loved Taylor Swift? Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah. What?
You don't remember that, Joan?
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, he went on and on for, I mean, it was like a long video. And it was like this whole ode to his affection for Taylor Swift. Now, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there was just a little creep factor there. By the way, Jonathan says the pothole driver people don't listen to you, Dan. That's why they're not sending pictures, and that's why they're falling in the potholes.
Well, that'll teach them.
Dad, you listen to me or you're going to fall into a pothole.
Right.
Whatever. All right, let's see here. The U.S. attorney in all of this is a guy named Ellis Boyle. And he laid down the thunder yesterday, and so I'm going to play some audio from him. He's a big, burly, bearded man, by the way, Ellis Boyle is. And this is what he said about the charges that are being brought against James Comey and a former FBI director. And this is part of what he has to say.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General. Earlier today, a grand jury in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned a true bill indicting Mr. James Comey with committing 2 felonies. Count 1, he knowingly and willfully made a threat to kill and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States in violation of 18 U.S.C. 871A. Count 2, he knowingly and willfully transmitted in interstate and foreign commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill President Trump in violation of 18 U.S.C. 875C. Mr. Comey will be given every form of due process all citizens are entitled to receive, to include a trial by a jury of his peers. In the Eastern District of North Carolina, it doesn't matter who you are. We take all threat cases seriously and prosecute anyone who violates federal law, regardless of title or status.
No one is above the law.
I think in this case, his title and status hurt him more than they help him.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course it does. He's not just, James Comey is not just some, schmuck off the street. He's a former FBI director, and he should have known better. But here's the deal. We know that Comey is a partisan hack. We know that this is somebody who has always hated Donald Trump, had it in for Donald Trump, part of the whole Russian collusion nonsense. And so the more that we see of James Comey, the more we know how TDS infused he is. So Todd Blanche, of course, Attorney General, had this to say about James Comey. Then we're going to move on.
Good afternoon. Today, a grand jury sitting in the Eastern District of North Carolina returned an indictment against James Comey on 2 counts. The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. Count 2, same day, May 15th, 2025, that the defendant, James Comey, knowingly and willfully transmitting in interstate commerce a communication that contained a threat to kill the President of the United States. Both of these counts carry a maximum term of imprisonment of of 10 years.
So that'd be 20 total. Hey, let's do real quick. Let's do a Daily Dan poll. How should we word this? Do you believe that the Trump administration is stretching when they're trying to charge James Comey with, whatever it is that they're charging him with? Because I do believe that there's going to be a lot of people on our side that do believe that this is a stretch. We'll have to see what happens. I would love to know what you think. Go to YouTube. By the way, watch it. I keep forgetting to promote this, Joan. I don't know why. But watch us on YouTube. Watch us on Facebook. Watch us on 99.7, WTN.com, so on and so forth. And watch us on Super Talk TV. By the way, people commenting today on my cap for people that are watching on Super Talk TV. I got one of my Scally caps on today.
And it matches your shirt so well. I'm impressed.
Yeah, Joan. So, Sam, Joan is trying to kiss my butt for laughing in my pink shirt earlier this week. So now she's saying, oh, look, you match and everything. You look so nice today.
That was a blouse.
It's not a blouse. Shut up, Sam. Anyway, speaking of non-manly men, so this is the audio of James Comey. Sam found it. Good job, Sam, where he is talking about his love of Taylor Swift.
While our elderly makeup-covered president is posting about whether Taylor Swift is still hot and declaring that he can't stand her, what's she doing? Living her best life. Producing great music and, as she urged all of us to do during the podcast, not giving the jerks power over her mind. She said something about dealing with internet trolls that stuck with me. Think of your energy as if it's expensive, she said. As if it's like a luxury item. Not everyone can afford it.
So there you go. James Comey on T Swift. And the audio that I had was him going on and on about, I think it was a specific song, and I don't remember. That's partial audio. There's a specific song. Let's see if we can find it for the crisscross handoff, because I've got a very important guest, Joan, coming in at 8 o'clock. Okay. Mary Smith is running to be the Williamson County mayor, and we're going to talk to her coming up at 8:06 here on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So if you can find that, I think it's actually a highly entertaining audio about James Comey and professing his love of Taylor Swift. He just sounds a little creepy. And for James Comey, when you are whatever age he is, and the way that he was talking about her, it was almost like if I'm Taylor Swift, there's a definite ick factor. By the way, people chiming in, I think this is going to be a really good Daily Dan poll, Joan. I don't know if you've been watching this. 96-37, definitely a stretch. 52-94, of course it's piled on. Everything against Donald Trump was a stretch. Why not against James Comey?
Right. We have to get back in their faces. We have to be just as grrr as they are.
What was that, Joan?
It's a term.
What was that, Joan?
It's a legal term.
Grrr. That's what Joan did. Grrr. Okay, very good. How do you spell that? G-R...
R-R-R-R.
I got to go. All right, 7:51. That was very funny, Joan. 7:51, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 8987. Hey, Dan, if it does not result in a conviction, it'll cost him financially like he did to so many. Fair point. Ham says, is that his name, Ham? James Comey sounds extremely soft. I can't believe such an unmanly person was the FBI director. Yeah, nobody likes James Comey, except for James Comey. James Comey likes James Comey.
He's in love with James Comey.
He probably gets his body hair laser removed.